Welcome to the Morning Nerdy News. I'm your host, Gray Falcon. We've got quite a few different news stories going on today and lots of information and updates, but I'm going to start off with something that I think everyone should be paying attention to this year. And it's November, and I see a lot of the posts going up about everybody getting really excited for Christmas. And while I do love Christmas, and this is probably a great year for Christmas given all the incredible new tech and things that are coming out, perhaps take a time to remember that this is November. We have Thanksgiving coming up, and the whole focus of this month is about giving to those and being grateful for the things that we have, not for the things that we're going to get. There are so many people this year that just are having terrible times. People who are trying to figure out how they're going to pay their mortgage, trying to get jobs, so much issues with homelessness, and people where domestic violence has increased drastically this year simply because of the circumstances that we're in, and they're stuck at home with people who are not good for them. So remember, this year, go out, donate, do some good. If you're healthy or you've already had it and you're healthy enough to go out and help people, go out to your local shelter, donate clothes. Just out at church, we went and gave socks this week, last week, because they were doing a drive because there's so many people who just need socks to keep their feet warm. Winter is coming and kids need clothes. So go out, make sure that you're putting jackets on kids, giving them coats, making sure that they have pants so they're not stuck in shorts all winter. I'll tell you what, the fact that we have seen at our local school kids coming in with no jackets, still wearing shorts from the summer, going into the school and just freezing, and they're going to get sick and have all kinds of other problems, all because they can't get the things that they need. And then food has been a huge issue for some people, just being able to feed themselves or their family. Put a little extra time to make sure that you're giving something to people who need it more than you do, if you happen to be in the fortunate position to be able to go out and give a little extra or give a lot extra, because this year is a year where people are going to need it more than ever. So please go out, do something for those around you. Do something for those that you know could be in trouble, and make sure that they are safe during this time when they could be trapped inside with someone who could just have disastrous results for them. Don't stay quiet in those circumstances. Do something to help those people. So remember, be thankful. Go out and give, but give to those who need it more right now, because right now we're in a situation where we need to do a little less thinking about ourselves and a little more thinking for the people who need that extra help. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the news now. We're going to go with PlayStation 5 faceplate seller is now canceling all orders following legal action from Sony. So if you haven't heard of them, they were the company that posted up as PlayStation 5 or PlateStation5.com and had already been forced to rebrand to CustomizeMyPlates.com. And Sony has now continued follow up with them and informed them that no, we don't want you selling these products at all. So they will be giving refunds to everybody who has already ordered through them. They were a legitimate company. They created the website kind of for the play on words, but they were already an accessory company, so they already made other products for other systems, everything from, controller stands, chargers, basic things like that. And they thought this would be a good opportunity again there, but Sony has kind of pushed on them and said, no, you can't do this. So hopefully this means Sony will be doing something similar on their own right and not charging us more than the $40 that we were being charged by PlateStation5.com. But if you ordered from them, you should expect to receive a refund soon. And then in other Sony news, we have that Sony nears acquisition of U.S. anime streaming service Crunchyroll. This is NIKKEI Asia. I sorry if I've butchered that. I honestly not sure how that's pronounced, but it just goes in and says that Tokyo, Sony has entered into final negotiations to acquire U.S. anime streaming service Crunchyroll. says that they learned of this Friday, and a deal could catapult the Japanese icon into global battle with the likes of Netflix. So it's one of those things where this could be Sony getting into TV streaming services or acquiring that in order to bundle that with PlayStation Now, or even looking at using their type of services and integrating that with their Gaikai-based services and getting those merged together in a way to help improve their services overall for game streaming as well. So we could see an improvement to PlayStation Now with that. And we're going to go ahead and move on from there, and we're going to talk about Ubisoft. And Ubisoft's Avatar game has been delayed alongside with Far Cry 6 and Rainbow Six Quarantine. The Avatar game was primarily postponed because the movie was postponed. So the Avatar movie, not to be confused with Avatar, the anime series that you watch on Netflix. The movie was delayed. They don't want to give away anything about the movie, presumably, so they had to delay the game so it didn't come out and spoil anything and ruin sales for the actual movie. And then Far Cry 6 has been pushed into next year. That was already announced last week, so you probably already heard about that one, and Rainbow Six Quarantine as well. So several games postponed, but Ubisoft already has several games coming out. They just had Watch Dogs launch. They have Assassin's Creed coming up here very shortly, and with all the other big titles that are coming out with next gen, they probably didn't want to risk having their sales cannibalized, especially with Cyberpunk now pushed back in December. And it's probably a smart move to ensure that, the money is spread out and how they're able to ensure that those funds are coming in fully for those games, rather than having most people buy them on discount because they decided to wait a couple of months to purchase, Far Cry because they've played the last 5, but Cyberpunk is far more interesting to them. So their $60 is going there, and all of a sudden Ubisoft's out all of that money, or waiting in the bargain bin later on. And then we have update from Bioware, where Anthem update for Javelin gameplay and builds. So what they're doing is they've talked about how players are getting bored with how the equipment is set up and how a lot of it just feels like it's a power level grind. So a lot like what Destiny is with the light level in there. So they wanted to customize this and update this. So what they're looking at is making it so the individual pieces have build-ups inside of them. And you can see that here. So inside of this Ranger weapon, you can see these customizable pickup points so you can gain advantages to different things. Now, how that's going to make this particular weapon necessarily different from another one, or how much difference there is in this actual internal build, we don't have that information. We pretty much get one weapon shown for how this is working out, and we don't know if different weapons are going to specialize for different abilities, work on the grenade faster is what this one primarily looks like. It looks like it's got some melee points built into it. If you zoom in there, it looks like there might be some armor markers. So keep an eye on this if you're still interested in Anthem, and for the 2.0 that'll come out some point, don't really know. We'll find out, then take a look at this. And then we have another update where this one is coming from Todd Howard from Bethesda Game Studios, and he talked with gamesindustry.biz. He says that deals with Microsoft are nothing special. This is nothing new. That deals with Microsoft for exclusivity have been there before with the Xbox 360, with the Xbox. So if you go back in time, they've had many. So if you look at it, it's really nothing new for them to only come out on a single console. Skyrim was just big. Fallout 3, Fallout 4, those games being cross-platform is actually a very new thing for them. That's something that's only happened starting in the PlayStation 3 era with those things. So this is kind of just reverting back to the way things were before that. And there's some other interesting information in here. How his views say that he doesn't necessarily expect that all of their games will be system specific. They could have things where some of the games go on console for just Xbox and PC, and it could have other games that, end up getting launched over on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch at some point possibly, but you get them on the Game Pass with Microsoft, and then you have to pay for them on the other systems. And it's going to be a case-by-case basis, and that's something that Phil Spencer has iterated before, that every game is going to be looked at and determined what the best process for Microsoft to earn the most money out of could be. And it could be we see timed exclusive. It could be that it comes out on Game Pass first. You get it where you can purchase it on Microsoft or get it through Game Pass, and then a year later they decide to release it on the other systems. So we've seen a lot of timed exclusive things like that, however, not from first-party games. So this will be pretty interesting to see how all of this breaks down and moves forward. And then we have some other Xbox news where we have the new Halo 4, well, PC news, sorry. So we have some other PC news. The new Halo 4 on PC screenshots released, and they are gorgeous. This is coming from over on GameSpot. So here we have like the ray tracing effects. At least it looks like we have some ray tracing effects going on. So these are all just very good looking images. Click through here, see how they look. I don't know if it's actual ray tracing. It may just be that they've done a lot of improvement on the lighting, and it shows. So if they haven't implemented ray tracing into this, then I am very impressed at the work that they've done to improve the lighting in this game. And then we're going to move over to Activision, where Activision Blizzard made $1.2 billion from microtransactions in just 3 months. They did their financial report the other day, and it shows that from the time period spanning from July to September, that $1.2 billion was made just from their microtransactions. Now, keep in mind that this also includes for their ownership of King Gaming, which is, Candy Crush and a lot of smaller phone games. But they have made a lot of money from games such as Call of Duty for microtransactions and all over the place. There's so much money coming in. I look at this and it seems to me that they could almost run their entire company just on the microtransaction funds coming in. And then all the extra is just, CEO bonuses, as it seems. Even though that luckily did get voted down this last time through because of how much extra money they were making on these things. But the dramatic 69% improvement over the same period last year, when Activision Blizzard made $709 million in game net bookings. So big money coming in here for Activision. And if you're ever wondering why Activision seems so scummy sometimes on their deals, why some of their product comes out a little mushy, and they're like, oh, we'll just fix it in the future and you're going to buy it and play it anyways. This is why we keep paying them. We keep paying them for these microtransactions. We keep paying them for all these little things that no sane person would typically pay for in a product that's broken. But here we are looking at, before Shadowlands ever came out, people are pumping money into World of Warcraft and buying the microtransactions in that game for pets. In a game that when it was released for the most recent expansion before Shadowlands was buggy as all get out. Everyone was complaining, but yet people still continue to pump money into this, and for nothing. Pets, mounts, things that you can get for free in the game, but you want a specific look. So if you wonder why their business practices are the way they are, it's because they're making this much money and they don't care if their user base gets smaller as long as that user base just keeps pumping in the extra money. But Call of Duty, on the other hand, did sell more copies than any other version of Call of Duty in history, they said in here. So that helps too. It is a big game, and the fact that sold so many copies, it's impressive, really, that they could actually sell so many Call of Duty games when every year we're like, oh, they can't do it again. They can't do it again. And they do it again and again and again and again. So somehow they keep selling these games and selling more of them every time through. So if you're ever worried about the scummy transactions that are made and by Activision, unfortunately, we really only have ourselves to blame for this one. So if you want things to change, remember, you have to vote with your wallet, and you have to stop spending money on things like this, or they're just going to continue to do it. And then we're going to go ahead and move over to the hardware news, where we have the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060 Ti graphics card launch reportedly pushed back to December 2nd. So, if you hadn't heard, originally it was thought that we were going to get these mid-November. So it was sometime around November 17th, I believe was the original estimate. Well, now information shows that we're looking at a December 2nd release. So we're not going to have that quick turnaround and have them pushed out basically week, 10 days after the release of the new AMD graphics cards. Now, whether that's because they need more time to manufacture boards, there's slowdowns with Samsung for getting the graphics chip processors pushed out, or if they just need more time for tweaking in order to actually be competitive for whatever they expect AMD is going to come out in the lower market, we don't know. But as of right now, they are scrambling to get something into the market that is mass marketable for everyone at a lower price, so you can come in and buy it and just stick it in your system and hopefully not just get beat out by AMD. Now, keep in mind, we don't have specs on AMD right now. Everything is looking very good for them, though. And then our final news piece is going to be on a new Raspberry Pi piece. So that keyboard that you see there is the Raspberry Pi 400. It is a $70 keyboard that is also a computer. So inside of this, it has an actual computer built inside. You plug everything into the back, hook it up to a monitor, your TV, and you have yourself a nice base computer that you can run Linux on. So if you just want something that you can carry around that's easy to plug in and convenient, you don't need anything special to work on it, this might be a great way for you to, get it in for the kids, help teach them some programming, maybe get them into Linux and learn a little bit more. And if you want the power supply and mouse with it, it bumps up to $100 rather than just the $70 for the keyboard. So that's really going to be all about whether or not you have the items necessary to go ahead and set this up immediately from just the keyboard, or if you want the little extra help to plug this in. They've made other products that are kind of all-in-ones before, but they weren't built into the keyboard, so you still had that extra accessory. Well, now they've reduced that even further. You get a little SD card that you insert into there, and that's kind of how you run it. You load Linux, you load some sort of program on there, and you have your tiny little computer set up in order to play and enjoy. Well, that's going to be it for today. We'll probably be streaming some games later on, looking at doing some more Watch Dogs, maybe doing some benchmarks later on today, because I did get that 3080 and I do want to get my benchmarks run on that to show how that runs in my system. As I said before, unfortunately, my computer that had the old 6700 is dead. That PC's motherboard apparently is done. The SSD in that one got fried, unfortunately. So I'm not going to be able to do the testing on the lower end machine like I wanted to show that. But we will be testing this with a 9900K is the setup for this system, and you'll be able to see those live. I did a live one for the streaming with Watch Dogs Legion when I first got that game on Friday, so you can go and check that out. It's at the very beginning of my gameplay there where you can see that and also see what my benchmark listings were before I actually launched the stream as well, so you get an idea of what it's like with and without the streaming going on. Now, remember, if you haven't already, make sure you click the follow button. This will be up later on YouTube under Gray Falcon there as well. That's GRAY_Falcon. And follow me on Twitter as The Gray Falcon. Until next time, have a good one.